You ready? Okay, this is my painting for the National, which is going to be at the MCA. And the painting is based on this painting from the 1400s, which is a very small painting. It's only about 17 centimetres high, and as you can see, mine's almost 2.5 metres high. And it's essentially a mother and child painting in a biblical tradition, but instead of the A's, which were for Ave Maria, my A's are AC/DC A's, and in my painting the mother and child is separated. The original painting's called The Virgin of the Dry Tree, and my painting's called The Mother of the Dry Tree. The painting's it's like a simple pasta dish. There's only like 3 ingredients, or music like drum, bass and guitars, like the A's, the tree and the eggs. It's very simple, and so it was very important to me to have a lot of negative space to activate those elements. And the egg is a symbol that I've used in my work repeatedly for many, many years. And so this motif is now coming to fruition with different meanings as it corresponds to my life at this time. So the painting also explores something else that I've been exploring for a long time, which is the relationship between 2 and 3 dimensions. So the top egg, the face is actually cut through, so it punctures the picture plane. So you're actually looking at the wall, so it's a relationship between 2 and 3D. And then I started making the 3D version of the painting. So here the tree is morphed into dry sticks, and the mother and child are in glass. So the egg form is something that I've used throughout my practice as a symbol of rebirth and regeneration and change, and that life is continuous and that we can be self-born. And then this also relates to the other 3-dimensional element that will be displayed as part of my presentation at the National, which has other eggs in it. But it also has other symbols and motifs and materials and themes that I've been working with for a long time. So it's like a cosmology of where I've been. And I'm hoping that the audience will have some kind of resonance with these materials and objects, and that they'll be able to make their own little stories or allegories from the way the objects are placed on the tatami mats. So the works on the tatami mats, obviously a tatami mat is Japanese, and so the tatami mat has this extra element where you can smell the seagrass and the straw. And Japan was the very first place I went as a teenager overseas from Australia, so it was a big cultural shock, but also informed my whole life. So there's this extra smell, and the other extra element is the musical elements that form part of the work. So even though you can't really touch it, there's the bells here, and that there might be some kind of sound implied that you could pick up the drumsticks and hit the garbage bin, not that you can. And that there's this Japanese bell here, and so the stick is here. I use this particular Japanese bell in a performance in Glastonbury, and so these objects have the investment or the energy of those other activities for me. And other things, like this is actually a very old work from 2003, or I can't even remember, and I've been working with ghosts for a long time, and paintings of ghosts that had masks, and they were symbolic of, if you can't learn to see your own karma, and your own ghosts are often quite hard to see and shrouded, then you can't move forward in life. And so, yeah, there's all kinds of symbols that I've been working with for a long time. So as you see from the painting and all the objects, they're all black, white and gold. They're all in that colour range. And it's very particular because the white and black are supposed to symbolise everything that's diametrically opposed. And then the gold is everything in between, and that nothing is actually white and black, or that nothing is that extreme, like when does day become night or life become death. A lot of the works also have very simple faces, 2 eyes and some kind of hole for a mouth. So the stingray skin, the rubbish bin, there's these objects that look like quasi-tribal masks. And then we've got the happy poo, the gold poo, and the ghosts. And so for me, I really want them to operate in a way where it doesn't matter how old you are or what culture you come from, you just know what a smile means, or you know what a tear coming out of an eye means. You don't need any kind of education, and that's where those works are really I'm trying to connect very directly. So the installation encompasses rock and roll, my interest in Asian aesthetics and Western art history, and how that all combines in my life. So this is a work of mine from 2002 called No Mountain, No River, and it's a snotty nose. And then if you come over here on my desk, I've got one of the drips from the nose, which is broken. So I'm going to incorporate this into the installation on this chicken skin. This is chicken's feet that's been sewn together. And so part of the reason is these old objects that I've been using in my work are sort of like a yeast, like a mother, and they get folded back in, and to really celebrate something that's broken and make a feature of it, which is also a very Japanese thing for ceramics. When they're cracked, they put gold in them. So that will be part of the installation. So these are some other clay works that will be on other tatami mats, and this clay was used in an artist called Claire Lamb's installation downstairs here at Artspace, and I recycled the clay. And it says, "I am passing through," which is a metaphor for life and studios and clay. And the "I am" references Colin McCann's "I am." And so many of my works have "I am" written on them. And then this finds its complementary piece in this work, which says "Sweet Dreams, Baby" on the back. And then there's the little baby on the tatami mat over here, and the little baby on the back says "Bye-bye." It says "Bye-bye." Okay. Okay, now we're going to make some snakes. Okay, so I grew up in Maitland in the Hunter Valley, and I told my therapist that I had a very uneventful upbringing, but that turned out not to be true. And I left Maitland the month I turned 18. I went to the big day out in Sydney and saw Nick Cave, Sonic Youth, and Iggy Pop. The day I turned 18, it changed my life, and I went to Sydney College of the Arts, and I studied there for 3 or 4 years, and I went to UCLA, and later on I studied in Paris, and I've been very, very blessed to have incredible teachers. And basically, I'm very happy being an artist. It seems to suit me very well. I think if I had a fantasy job, it would be to be a nun and have a monastic life, and then part of my other pole of my existence would be to be a rock star. So an artist is a perfect middle path between the two, because I get to have this internal and a reflective, introspective time in the studio, and then external times of exhibition and showtime. And it works for me. There you go. Is that enough?